Buju, Tansegia.
Hey, how are ya?
It's a smudge for your thoughts.
With Kisses!
And Zosha.
Wow. I really ramped up the enthusiasm there. I expect it back.
So, in today's episode, we are interviewing one of my friends, Jesse. I met him in college. He's a great guy. This is a great episode. We talk about some awesome things, some very enlightening things. You get to learn about language. You get to learn about
ledger art.
Yes, you get to learn about that. I was trying to go back and forth, but you weren't playing along. So
I didn't know that's what you were doing.
it's good. It's fine.
I mean, I did say something.
Yeah. So we get to talk about
staying balanced and grateful in your life, and
and we get to talk about military.
Just listen; it's really good.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy.
It's gonna be a good one.
All right. See you on the other side.
Yep. Okay, so we'll start off this here with our first question. So what is your name? Where are you from? And how do you identify yourself? Your tribe, nation, band, citizen of, or however you identify.
Right. Okay, Nick so Quacks. Ik wat ze nog boa. Antoxistikoi. Tesitsipsita ni taka snake one. Ni still an coca snake. Number to scapi pi canyo. Scapi pi canyo means 68 to be Sinax pi. Is still again a scandagis snip and it's eat boxin. Antoxistikoi. Sita potak. Iteka kia kiopi tesksinimaats kiopki tesksinimaats kiop. Ki tesksinimaats mixio. Tsi boxen miximatapio. Hello and welcome. Thank you all for letting me join you guys. My name's Jesse DesRosier. I want a degree in Blackfoot. I think it's always good starting things in the language. You know, it brings a little bit more balance to this crazy world we're in, right? Mm-hmm. But Jesse DesRosier, I'm from Browning, Montana, Blackfeet Reservation. I'm Blackfeet, member of the Blackfeet tribe, Southern Pagan. I'm also part Grovon, Ani, as well as some Colville, German, French, Irish, Mutt, you know, a little bit of everything. Mm-hmm. But you know, I mostly identify with Blackfoot because that's where I grew up, and that's been my primary focus in life is understanding the language, culture, teaching, preserving, and being a part of it.
Nice. Tony describes himself as a mutt as well.
Yeah, purebred mutt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you. I really loved hearing it first in your language, so that was beautiful. What do you do for a living, Jesse, or passion or hobby, or all of the above and multitudes?
Well, you know, I think I'm fortunate enough to be in a career where I'm passionate about it, you know. Mm-hmm. I think if you're not passionate in your career, you're wasting your time almost, right? Because, you know, no amount of money will make you happy, so... I'm a language teacher, so I'm involved in language learning, language revitalization. That's my primary job, I guess. I teach at the Immersion School in Browning, the Pagan Institute, co-founded by the late Daryl Kipp. I was a product of that school. I graduated there when I was a young boy, and on high school, military, and college, got a bachelor's degree. And I also teach at the community college in Browning. Blackfeet Community College. And besides that, I do some artwork. Me and my wife both do artwork. I do ledger art, and she does a lot of beadwork, crafting, and things like that. So that's my passions and hobbies, I guess. I'm a husband and a father of 4 children, so that's my other passion and hobby is raising those kids,
Nice.
Now, you said that you do ledger art. There are some people on that won't know what that is. Could you describe what ledger art is?
For sure. So, Plains tribes, and I can mostly speak specifically on Blackfoot people, the origin of ledger art. Historically, we recorded our history through winter counts on hides using pictographs. And you see similar ones carved in rock petroglyphs and things like that. But our pictographs were painted on hide, and it would depict the year's events. And every year in our New Year's ceremony, which is the Okan, in the summertime, the storytellers of each band would relate the stories of what happened that year, and they would keep these hides, And then in the late 1800s, through the annihilation of the buffalo from the government and railroads, my people started to realize their culture changing. My people really identify as a buffalo culture, but once the buffalo were going extinct and we were no longer hunting, they said, well, our history has stopped. We will no longer tell our stories through these buffalo robes. Now, later, with trade and boarding schools, what became popular was this ledger art, where people would depict their war accounts or war deeds, mostly men on ledgers, and then students who were taken or stolen from their homes and brought to boarding schools would draw on these ledger papers. And it became a fascination for many, seeing how the life changed of Blackfoot people from contemporary war art, buffalo hunting, to modern houses, cows, things like that. But a lot of people still use that in a storytelling way, and it's become very popular in the late 80s, 90s through artists like Terence Garpy, recently John Peppian, But a lot of Plains artists use those and use them currently for storytelling, as well as expressing your inner spirit through art, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you sell your art on.
Oh yeah.
So, and you actually said that, but can you tell our audience like where to find, where to buy your art and where to see it and experience that whole culture right there?
Yeah, come by my house. No, I'm just I'm on Highway 2. I got a stand. No. So my art name, it's interesting. I got a business account when I worked for Tipo on the Blackfeet Res. So I use that. My business name is Pikuni Boy, Pikuni Boy Media. And if you're going to write a check out to me, don't write it out to that name, because I realized I need a business account to cash a check in that name recently. Okay. But anyway, on Instagram, Pikuni Boy Media is where I post a lot of my artwork. I do have one on Facebook as well, but mostly active on Instagram. And I have a email account number. I can put it in my bio if anybody's interested in looking at the art that way, But
awesome. Well, thanks for that history lesson right there, and giving us a little bit of background on that kind of artwork.
Yeah.
Can we touch a little bit about on this next question we want to touch on is what inspires you to do what you're doing? What inspires you to teach your language? What inspires you to do your artwork? And
good question. I'll start with language, and this goes back before I was alive. All of us are here as Indigenous people because of the resilience and the prayers and strength of our ancestors, right? So I don't believe that anything is coincidence or for no reason. But how I got involved with language, I've always had a deep interest, but the late Daryl Kipp, in the 80s, he graduated from Harvard. He's from my reservation in Browning, but he had a wild and crazy dream to teach children their language, and mind you, 1978, the Freedom of Religion Act was when boarding schools closed. So a lot of our community was very apprehensive on teaching children language. They didn't understand why, and a lot of them had a lot of fear at the government, what they would do. But he pushed forward and he created this school. And I'm a product of that. And because of the gift that I received through that and understanding who I was as an Indigenous person, as a Blackfoot, from Skapipi Kani, it really rooted me into, it really grounded me into my roots, So with that gift, the only way I can truly thank him and for that was to pass it on and continue it, So I continue to learn and pass that on because it's really something as Indigenous people really displaced, So having an understanding of who you are, you're really able to do anything you want, You're really able to see the world in a way that's not shaped by government borders or lines, So the reason I do that is to share that gift, that our people have always had for thousands of years, something that we're all entitled to, but we can't just go to a store and buy it. We can't go to the government and get it from them. It has to come from within us, And then artwork has always been a passion of mine, And in Blackfoot, there's no word for art. And if you look at Blackfoot teepees, they were painted. Liners were painted. Our clothes were decorated. Before beadwork, we used quills. We always had artwork on us, around us, in us. Our ceremonial objects are decorated and beautiful, But we never had a word for art because, I think artwork is truly an expression of your spirit coming out, And ever since I was a kid, I always liked to create things with my pen and paper. I was always getting in trouble in school for not listening and doodling, but, it was always my way of, expressing myself and passing time, I guess. And it's became something now that supports my family too. But it's always just been a hobby and something to express myself, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So, like, the fact that, you said in the late 70s, right, is when Daryl Kipp decided to, or had that dream, and to
80s.
Or the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's at that time, how you're explaining it, sounds like without this revitalization from Daryl Kipp and other people that are brave enough to make sure that the culture was carried on, it sounds like it could have very well been, just, buried and lost, kind of, so it's really good. It's amazing work that you are doing and that he did, because a lot of people were afraid, because of what the government did and is still doing. So it's really amazing work that you do to pass it on, that any person is doing to pass on their culture. So I guess that wasn't really a question, it was just a comment on what you said.
Thank you. Yeah, it's in Blackfoot perspective, it's different. We don't think about what if,
Oh,
we
true.
just know what happened,
Yeah.
But it is important. Anybody involved in language can tell you how it's very rewarding to see kids speak the language, But it's been a great impact on our community. These past 30 years since our school, we've seen even the public schools adopt immersion programs.
Good.
It's integrated into the community college, but there's a lot more confidence. Seeing children speak their language, it brings out a lot of positive things, and I think it's healing. It's very healing for our communities to have that back. I know there's been research done on simple things or certain things like suicide, where just bringing back the language has helped communities. And those are things that plague a lot of Indigenous communities, but I think it comes from that displacement, that
Yeah.
lack of identity in America, So gaining that back is, I think, is powerful,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
So you, I know that whenever we were in college, that you were doing the fun run. No, not fun run. It was the language run.
Yeah,
Language.
Sacred Roots.
Yeah, Sacred Roots. Is that still going on, or you still? Is that
No, it's not as active now. After I left, um, didn't get picked back up. It was a group that I was a part of, co-founded in University of Montana, called Sacred Roots Language Society. It was advocating for indigenous languages, and we hosted some conferences, 2 conferences where we invited speakers from across the nation, and we did a fun run in the fall time to fundraise for that. But it was a lot of fun and a lot of work. I had a very hardworking crew of people who shared the same passion. And fortunately or unfortunately, we were all around the same time of graduating. And there was, a lot of work for the next generation of people. But I think someday it'll start back up. But as of now, it's on a pause, I should say.
Okay.
so? You did. I mean, you've definitely touched on this next question of how do you stay connected to your culture, or what does it mean to you to be Blackfoot?
It could mean variety of things depending on anybody you ask, I guess to me, there's a difference. Being Blackfoot is one thing. You can just simply have a descendant or enrollment card on you and tell somebody your blood quantum, But to me, being Blackfoot, Nitsitapi is really what it breaks down to. Nitsitapi is the word we use for real people. That's what we call indigenous people. And being Nitsitapi, it's a day-to-day thing. It's a lifestyle and an understanding you got to have or strive for. There's no such thing as perfection, In the English language, we've adopted a lot of customs from Europe, and there's a lot of Christianity within this English language. With that, I mean there's a good and an evil constantly. There's a line drawn, on one side is bad, one side is good, and there's a constant conflict, right? Yeah. Whereas in Blackfoot, the life, it doesn't have that good and evil. There's a balance that you strive for, but it's not a good and evil sense. There's a whole world of gray, So being Blackfoot is trying to understand the balance and striving to immense love, immense respect, putting out positive things for future, understanding the environment, how it works, but just being respectful and connected to everything, I think, is what it means to be Nitsitapi. Being connected and in tune with your environment, with the people around you, the animals, And I'm not talking about Pocahontas painting with all the colors of the wind. Yeah. It doesn't take anything very, too spiritual. You just have to be aware of all the life that's around us, not neglect things. Acknowledge the energies around you, be respectful to them, be respectful to your neighbors. That's basically, I think, what it means to be Blackfoot, is being in tune with your surroundings, being a part, being human, remembering how to be human in this technological, capitalistic crazy world,
Yeah, I get what you're saying about how the English language does have that good or evil, and that's, black and white, like, very, but it is very Christian, however you say it. It's very much inspired by Christianity. And I mean, I grew up like that I was raised Catholic, and kind of having that idea of like guilt all the time and like you have to be good, not bad, So it's kind of like when you just remember just to be grateful and respect others and just kind of find that balance, like you said, you would live a much more meaningful life than just good, bad,
Yeah, being present in the moment, time is a big thing. Time is a big stressor that we all have today. But when you think about things in a different way, be grateful, in Blackfoot, the concept of time, we got not do. See, the sun, it comes in the morning and it sets in the evening. We acknowledge it when it comes in the morning. We smudge to prepare for the day to be balanced. And then when it's setting, we smudge and prepare for the night and hope the sun will rise again. We're grateful for each day, but we don't stress about next week, next month, next pay period, when the bills are coming. That's too far out. We work each day, and enjoy and be in the moment in each day. And our prayers are what's for the future. We pray so that my great grandkids can live to be old, and I might not ever be there to see that, but that's what my prayers are for, and what I do today will help with that. I'm not going to be wild and crazy like I used to be. I'm going to be in the moment and helping my family, my children, so that someday, 2 generations from now, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren can live to be old, and I think in this technology, we've gone to the point where we want instant gratification every time, and we forget so much about the moment, enjoying the little things in life, when the season's changing and, your kids are growing or whatever's going on. We're constantly stressed about next week or next month and forgetting to be right here, right now, as human people, like John Trudell said, we're forgot what it's like to be human, So getting back to that as human beings, being empathetic, sympathetic, understanding to other people's, being aware, respectful, being loving, right?
Yeah, true that. I was kidding. But yeah, exactly.
Could I hold on just 1 minute? Hold on.
I'll tell a quick story about Tony.
Yeah.
I went to boot camp in 2007, September 4th, 2007. I was shipped off to MCRD, San Diego, the Marine Corps. And I went with, there was a few Montana guys, but one of them was a Rocky Boy kid by the name of Alfred Morissette. Tony's cousin. He was my brother, is my brother to this day, but I lost touch with him. I don't know. We went to boot camp together and then Marine combat training. And then we went to MOS school and we were both in North Carolina, but 2 different places. And then we both picked overseas and I got mainland Japan. He got Okinawa, Japan. And I was there 32 months, I was deployed and stuff off and on, but I never seen him after that. I always wondered where he went.
Aw, that's really cool that you met his cousin. Like what, 5 years or so before you met Tony then, probably?
Yeah, no, probably more like 8.
Oh, okay. Nice. So you still haven't talked to him since then?
No, when I got a Facebook, I started searching. I think I added every Morissette I could. Asked about it, but
dang.
One of these days.
It'll just happen.
Yeah, but the drill instructor who used to mess with us, but he'd always say Morissette, and then they thought I was Mexican. They always thought, I was every damn thing. When I was in the Marines, Mexicans thought I was Mexican and Hispanic, or Asians thought I was Asian. But I had this one drill instructor. His name was, Masvidal, drill instructor Masvidal. And he used to always tell me, and when we'd eat, we'd have to carry our trays and would say, "Good afternoon, sir," would turn. And for like a week, I'd say, "Good afternoon, sir." And it'd say, "Stop. DesRosier, what are you?" And I'd be like, "Native American, sir, go." And for like a week, he'd ask me, "DesRosier, what are you?"
What are you?
"Native American, sir." And then he'd say, "What tribe are you?" And I'd say, "Blackfeet, sir." And he'd say, "Go." And then at the end of boot camp, Morissette had a question, and he said, "Morissetti." He said, "What are you, Morsetti?" And he said, "Native American, sir." And he said, "What tribe are you, Morsetti?" And he said, "Cree." And he said, "Hello, DesRosier. Morsetti, are you two at war?" I thought it was pretty funny, but yeah, you ran into different natives in the Marine Corps. It's crazy.
How, I guess that's a good question to kind of, or thing to ask you about, like, how was your experience? You said it was Marine Corps, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I lost.
Oh,
for
you're
a
good.
second.
You went out in space for a minute.
Yeah. My alarm kept going off about this call, and I hit it.
I know you always think you turn it off, and then just rings like 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Well, I was a fourth generation veteran of the United States. My great grandpa and grandpa were both in World War II. One was in the Navy. My grandpa was a Marine Corps sniper. My dad is in the Army. And me and my younger brother both went into the Marine Corps. And a lot of people in there are, family generations, But when I graduated from Browning on the res, I didn't know what the heck I was going to do. I wasn't ready for college. I knew that. And I wanted to fight fire. And at the time, 2007, Blackfeet were big into firefighting. Our hot shots were some of the best, even the best in the nation at the time. But that's all the plans I had, was really to fight fire. And talked to recruiters. I took the ASVAB and things like that. And I decided, my dad kind of woke me up to it. He said, if you stay around here and ain't got much going on, it's for res, but if you join the military, you get out for 4 years, see the world, and then help you in college. So that's the route I went. And, I could see some people's experience. It's very varied. It's very different, depending on what unit you get, the job you get, who you're around, what you're doing. And I didn't really have the best experience. I didn't enjoy some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff, but I really built connections with certain people, so I don't regret anything. I enjoyed the experience for what it was, but it's definitely not what a recruiter tells you, So I didn't see home for 32 months.
Wow.
I was bouncing around different countries, and by the end of that, I wanted to be home, be free, but it puts in perspective what freedom is, I guess. So, if I had to do it all over again, I definitely would. I mean, just because I can't change anything, but yeah, it's definitely not what a recruiter tells you.
They do whatever they can to get you on team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Team Marines or Army, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. Make sure that all my family is on my dad's side has been in the like Marines, Army, Navy.
Oh yeah.
And they say that make sure whatever you sign it's what you want, because once you sign it, they're yours.
Yeah.
Or you're theirs.
Yep.
I mean,
and that's probably the hardest.
Sign your life away. Be careful, because you definitely changes your life for sure. Good and the bad. You gain a lot of things, good and bad, habits, whatever. But I think I've done a lot of work with veterans. Veteran suicide is another big issue that plagues veteran communities, just like Native communities, underrepresented, the media negatively portrayed, marginalized groups. But there's a lot of resources out there that they don't tell you about when you're in or getting out. And I've worked with Vet Voice, who's done a lot of great things. A shout out to them. But they believe in alternative healing for PTSD and traumatic brain injury through the outdoors.
Oh, nice.
And I know for any veterans who are going to be listening to this, there's always help out there. I can even put the suicide hotline on my bio if needed.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to reach out. We're people too. Check on your friends, check on your family. And be grateful for those people who have gave the ultimate sacrifice, despite what war or what the political gain was. Those people were fighting for their brothers and sisters next to them. The cause that they were fighting for was to keep their brothers and sisters safe. So we should always remember to honor and respect the veterans.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we could move on to our next question now. So how do you navigate through this colonized space with your customs, language, traditions in mind in order to succeed at your job, your field, hobby, passion?
Well, I tuck my blitzcloth in my pants. No, I'm from Browning, man. I don't got to hide too much there. I mean, my reservation, the high school in Browning, when I went through it, was like 90-something% Blackfeet. The 10% were other Indians or maybe some whites. So I mean, there's a lot of brown people where I'm from in Browning, and
Browning Indians, right?
What's that?
The Browning Indians. That's your mascots? Yeah.
Oh.
Browning. You got to say it like that. But over here now in Kalispell, it's definitely bringing me back, like a culture shock, like when I moved. Well, I was gone from the res for about 10 years, 4 in the military, and I worked for 2 years, construction all over Montana, South Dakota. And then when I went to Missoula, I thought Missoula, at the time it was very liberal and open and diverse, but still it wasn't like being on the reservation, So now here I am again, and even though I'm pretty light in the winter months, I'm kind of the darker guy in the crowd at times, So I try to fit in. I guess one thing I learned in the military is observing your situation, in your surroundings, and fitting in, is best. Don't be too loud. I guess people who are too loud can be a target. But I do take part in protests and public events, so I'm not saying to not stand up for what you believe in, but not stand out, I guess, unless you have to, unless you want to make a big point. But sometimes just being yourself is standing out enough,
Yeah.
My family's darker than me, so I mean, we stand out already, I guess. I try to just be respectful to everybody,
Yeah.
As a father and stuff, I am a protector, so if I need to, I can change it up, but I just try to fit in.
Down. Yeah. Kind of treat other people how you would want to be treated, kind of thing.
Oh yeah. You can't expect respect when you're mean mugging everybody. So greeting people, telling people hello, how's it going? Visiting, being open, that's always all right. I mean, nothing wrong with being friendly.
Right. Nice. Any other questions you want to ask before I ask the last one?
So, I've seen on like your Facebook page that you make a lot of jokes about racism that's happened, and that's a good way to be, is to make fun of this kind of stuff.
Humor is a good tool.
Yeah. Could you just explain why you do that? Why you think humor is a good medicine?
Why do you make jokes? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, in this life, you can't take it too serious. We're all going to die in the end anyway, right now. I think there's been just tragedy after tragedy. 2020 has been just, if I can say it in one word, tragic, with the pandemic. But a lot of lives, have been lost. A lot of families are hurting from that sickness. I've lost distant family members, but also besides that, I've experienced suicide and other death this past year that's been just tragic, and we can only post hearts and prayers and condolences so much, I mean, I pray every day, I try to, but I figure the best way to reach people out there, in our country is so divided, from politics, media, and everything that's going on. There's been such a big divide. I trigger a lot of right-wing extremists on my page a lot too, but the one thing I can do is laugh about it. If I could poke fun even at self or at something else and make somebody laugh a little bit or smile or LOL or whatever, maybe they can go about their day in a little bit better way, instead of thinking or grieving or suffering, maybe it will ease that a little bit, that pain, because Indian people were constantly, Blackfoot people constantly teasing, I've been to funerals and wakes where people were just outright laughing, Our ceremonies are the same way, we tease and we laugh and joke, and it's constant. We can't forget that. We can't forget that part of our culture, who we are. We can't be too pissing serious, I mean, not all of us are Iron Eyes Cody, and we drop a tear every now and again, you could smile. Shit, I mean.
Can't always be like Victor and be stoic all the time. Nice. Yeah, I agree with that. Humor is a great tool for like resiliency and just like you said, just not taking life too seriously.
Yeah, and humor is a great middle ground too. I mean, it's a way to reach people across the aisle, who you feel are so different than you. And you crack a joke and they laugh, that eases a lot of tension right there, disarms a lot of people, because, that's a human trait that we all have, is that humor is within us, a lot of other things that we've adapted to are, like racism and stuff, these things that we're taught and that we're ingrained to, but the things that are inside us as human people, we got to bring those out more, touch on those, though that's healing for us, and laughter.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Good thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Good job. That's good. So I guess we can bring it to our last question. So what, Jesse, do you wish to let our audience know about your tribe or your community, or just what final thoughts in general do you want to leave us with?
All right. Well,
balls in your court.
Oh, good. Did you have one more thing to say?
Oh, no, sorry. Oh, no.
She said balls in your court.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, about my tribe, one thing I've seen a lot, especially through the media, likes to spin it this way, is how negative reservation life is and how negative reservations are. And I'd like to see that perception change, because for me, I love my community. I mean, don't get me wrong, I spent 10 years away, but in all that 10 years, I was representing my community and doing everything I could to get back home, But when we leave our reservations, it's displacement, and there's a lot of hard-working people on my reservation. I'm sure across every reservation, a lot of people who are doing big things every day to change lives. There's a lot of providers, not just men, women, Indigenous women. There's no strength like Indigenous women, They've carried us through our darkest times, and we should all step up We should all be a voice for especially MMIW and things like that. But our communities, we need to start treating them better in the ways when we talk. We got to stop with the negative. Let's be positive. Our reservations are beautiful places.
Mm-hmm.
The people there are beautiful people, hardworking people. So when it comes to my community, I love my community. I have a lot of deep connections there, and I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. There are people who want to leave and things like that, but I guarantee those ideas change after experience in other communities. Indigenous people were beautiful people, resilient, strong, resilient. And we're here because of our ancestors' prayers, our ancestors who fought. Some tribes never made it. Our ancestors, if you're got any indigenous in you, your ancestors were strong. They were medicine men. They were warriors. They were leaders. So we're here for that. Let's make it worth it. Do we want to spend this life on the street in the dumps crying, or do we want to spend it working on our next generation, because we're all going to be gone one day. What are we going to leave behind? How we're going to leave the world when we're gone. What are our grandkids, our great grandkids, what they going to have, So be strong, be brave, be courageous, fight for what you believe in, and don't quit. There's a word in Blackfoot, Hiy-Hiy. Now, in recent years, it's been translated as try hard, and it's really kind of a cheap definition of that word, try. Hiy-Hiy. So in the old days, when warriors would be going out to battle or whatever, they'd tell each other, Hiy-Hiy. Now, what it meant was, whatever you're doing, you do it, you see it through, you go all the way. Be willing to give your life for whatever your cause is.
Yeah.
Don't quit. So
don't
if I'm going to war and I tell you, hey, try hard. If not, we're all dead. Your whole family's gonna die. That ain't good. Persevere. It means you dig deep.
Yeah.
So carry that with your life. Try hard. Whatever you're going for, go all the way. Don't quit halfway. Go all the way. Be passionate about what you're doing. Enjoy what you're doing. Because if you're not passionate and you don't enjoy what you're doing in life, you better die or something. You're doing it wrong. What the hell are you doing?
Or maybe you have to find a new passion.
Yeah.
Something you're more passionate about.
I mean, you gotta be. Life's too damn short to not be happy. Nobody wants to go through life miserable. If you believe in hell, you can create it in this life right now. But on the opposite end, if there's a hell, there's a heaven, right?
Yeah.
But indigenous philosophy, perspective, there's neither. It's a balance. You walk that balance. Try hard. Hiy-Hiy. You persevere. Get through. So if there's any last words, that's what I'd encourage everybody. Whatever movement you're a part of, whatever passion you're passionate about, whatever job or career choice, be true to it. Go all the way, Hiy-Hiy. We're going to get through this.
Yes. I love that. That's very inspiring.
Don't forget to laugh.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Stay motivated and don't forget to laugh. Yeah, that's what we need during this time is those words. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for all that you said. And
I feel more balanced, honestly, just having this conversation. I really do. I think our audience will love it.
Yeah.
But no, that's really good words, honestly, for us to just keep on with this work and getting people's voices out there, even though our audience isn't that big yet, but
it'll grow.
Yeah.
It'll grow.
So yeah. Thank you so much.
We're getting out there.
Yeah.
We got some good people coming up like you.
Exactly. I'm I'm excited for. We've always had good people on our.
Yeah.
Everyone's great.
Everybody is great.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. It's
Thank
been an
you
honor.
for being on it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I guess we'll
end the recording.
End the recording now. All right. Well, thanks for listening to the episode. Hope you learned a lot. Hope you had fun listening to it. Got a little bit of something out of it.
Hope you feel more grounded after listening to it, because I did.
Definitely. So if you want to check out more episodes or find out more about us, go to our website at www.asmudgeforyourthoughts.com. From there, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and how to get in contact with us.
Yeah, and if you or anyone you know would like to be on our podcast, you can fill out our simple form, which is found on that website as well. We've also put it on Facebook, so you could probably find it there too.
Yeah, and you could also email us at contact@asmudgeforyourthoughts.com.
And call me at... No, I was kidding.
Yeah, don't do that. We already get enough like spam calls from all over the place.
I wouldn't know it was even a call from someone. Yeah. So we would like to thank Mary Kay for designing our logo. We want to shout out 8th Generation for this super cool, beautiful Confluence blanket because we love 8th Generation, and if you're either 8th Generation, we'd love to interview you. Just kidding, but seriously. Anyway.
Yeah, and we'd also like to thank Okimauki Hiy, the late Roddy Sunchild Sr., for the words in our song. He is talking to me, giving me some words of wisdom whenever I was just a young boy. He gave me those words during my naming ceremony. So we'd like to thank him.
All right, with that, Gigawabamin.
Gigawabamin.
That's what I said.
I know, I was saying that too.
Oh. Peace. See you later.